Alright, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and of course non-binaries. The number one rule to any good tutorial is a good hot brew. So you need to make sure that you've got a good hot brew before you do any sort of tutorial. So welcome back to Advice with Grandad, the series where I impart practical life skills and knowledge to you, the viewer, just as a sort of bonding experience and just to really help you develop as a human being, really, because we all need someone to be there for us, to look out for us. So I want to be that for you. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to teach you how to cook for yourself, because it's a very practical life skill. When you live on your own, you're going to need knowledge of how to cook. So what we've got here in our big old bank, which, as we discussed in the last episode, you can use to store more than just money. You can actually store all sorts of things in a Runescape bank. So what we're actually going to do, we're going to take out a log here and we're going to start a fire, just as an example of one way that you can cook. And here we have a whole selection of raw meat. I've actually been storing this up over quite a while, but for example here we're going to take some salmon, because I know that those are the ones that yield the highest experience of all of the ones I have here in this bank. What we're going to do is we're going to leave the bank, because we don't want to be starting fires inside. That is a very important rule. Do not start a fire inside. That is just like, I mean, unless you have a proper fireplace, then that's alright. But, I mean, you could burn down the curtains, you could burn down the building itself, you could burn down the whole village, and that is not something that you want on your shoulders. That is actually really bad, and it's going to cause you a lot of grief in the long run, as well as it's going to, burn down the village, really. So what we want to do here, as you may have seen, you click on the salmon, and then you click on the fuck off, I didn't want you. No, fuck off, I don't want you either. No, excuse me. We're going to click on the salmon, and then we're going to click on the fire, and then there is a big button here that says cook, and really that is all you need to do. So see, we burnt this first one, but here we and the third one, but we successfully managed to cook a couple here. So look, as you can see, we have all of these nice cooked ones, and some of them don't turn out alright. It is actually a lot more difficult to cook on an open fire, which is why I thought that I would show you this practical life skill first, because it is the more challenging of the ones that there are available. So it does give a lot more burnt fish, because it is a lot more difficult, but also it yields an extra 10% experience. So if you cooked these salmon on, like, say, an oven, for example, where people are meant to cook things, then that would give you 90 experience. But because we are cooking them on this fire, that is yielding us an extra 10%, which has given us 99, which is a lot more bang for our buck, if you know what I mean. That is a lot more. So I do believe, because we are in Al-Kharid at the moment, which is just in the middle of the desert, which, I mean, is a strange place to put a bit of a village, but it is essentially like Agrabah in Aladdin. So that's kind of the vibe that we're going for here. So what we're gonna do now, we'll take some pike, and you know what? Actually, we'll put some of these back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we'll also take some bread dough, because we're going to go off in search of an oven. Here we go. So we have now found an oven. So what we're going to do, we're going to click use raw pike, and we're going to click on the oven. It really is that simple. And then it will say, do you want to cook the pike? And see, the good thing about cooking at an oven is that the fire won't just suddenly go out. You do yield less experience, because you don't get that extra 10%, but it is a lot easier to cook your fish without burning them. So it depends how you want to hedge it, really, because cooking on an open fire gets you a little bit more experience, but you are more likely to burn the fish, whereas cooking on a range or an oven gets you a little bit less, but you're less likely to burn them. So in the long run, maybe it's worth it. It just depends what sort of cooking you're into, what you really want to do with, because cooking is an art form, you know, really, it's a form of expression. So, I mean, however you want to do it, it's just the best way for you, really. And also it depends where you are. Like, if you're in the middle of the wilderness, there's not necessarily going to be an oven just hanging around, but there might be a tree that you can cut down to get some logs, make a fire, and cook your extra food. So it's important for survival, because we do all need to eat to stay alive, particularly in Runescape. So what we can also do potentially now is use this bread dough on the range. You can't do this on a fire, because you couldn't just make bread over like a fire in the middle of nowhere. You've got to have a proper oven and proper cooking equipment. So what we're going to do is use this bread dough on the oven, and look at that. Suddenly, as if by magic, we just have some nice healthy loaves of bread. Now, they're not the greatest for experience, they're alright, but look at that. And these bread doughs, you can get them dropped by like goblins and everything. So just like that, we've just made some bread. Just from nowhere. And you know what, really, I think that is all you really need to know. Like, as practical as it gets. Like, we can cook now on an open fire, or we can cook on an oven, and we can just make bread. We could, like, kill a goblin, watch it drop a bread dough, pick up the bread dough, go to an oven, bam, hey presto, you've got bread. It really is as simple as that. Like, it is so simple, and you've made bread. That's just fantastic, if you ask me. Honestly, I'm so glad that I could impart this knowledge to you. Do leave a like rating down below if you enjoyed the video, and leave some comments telling me what sort of tutorials you'd like to see next, what sort of things that you were stuck on that you would really like some help with. So, I've been your granddad, not by blood, obviously. I don't have that many children, but I am your honorary granddad. Do subscribe if you want to see any more tutorials that I make in future. And I hope you're having a fantastic day. I will see you really soon. Ta-ra!